Hey everybody. A lot of you know that I like reading like philosophy and theory, and I've read the Bible a couple of times. I've read the Quran. I like end of world stories and things like that because I think there's a little bit of truth and culture in all those stories, right? And so after talking to a couple of my friends and joking about Bernie Sanders all the time and Trump, of course, and Hillary Clinton, I came up with an interesting revelation, quote unquote, if you will. I think it's interesting because of the similarities in the cultural ties that this particular truth could have. So if a lot of you remember in 2012 the world was supposed to end, it didn't. But a lot of doctors and philosophers believe that what those world, like end of the world scenarios really mean is there's going to be a great change. And this is something that can't be like determined or quantified scientifically because like I don't know how many of you are very spiritual, but I'm a very spiritual person. I do believe in God. I believe that there is a special connection to nature, and I do believe there's a special connection to Earth that we all have. And our planet even shows us when it's mad at us all the time, which is why global warming is or climate change is a pretty big deal, because a lot of people believe that it's like we have this narcissistic belief that, oh, we're destroying our planet, and we can't destroy this planet. There's nothing that we can possibly do. First of all, that's narcissism. We will be destroyed if the planet is angry. It will autocorrect like it does with everything else in nature. It's like a lizard. It can drop its tail and pick and grow a new one very soon. So yeah. So I'm very spiritual when it comes to things like that. But I'm also I like facts. I also like storytelling. I like myths because there's like if you've ever taken a myth or a mythical culture class, you will know that there's always truth in every myth that we've ever seen, some type of truth, right? So with that being said, I was talking to my friend the other day, and I realized something. We are possibly in Revelations as we speak. We could actually be living what the Bible and several other cultures refer to, what we call it Revelations, but other cultures call it different things. This is why. We have the Antichrist, who is described as this eloquent speaker, very connected, very smart, extremely intelligent, good at deception, will pretend as if, well, actually, no, they just cause a lot of damage, but they do it in such a way that people never catch it because they're enamored by their personality. Now, if we've been watching this election, I think we know who that describes, and that would be Hillary Clinton. Then we have the Satan's last deception before Christ comes and saves all his believers, which is he comes down and pretends to be Christ. He acts as if he is healing people. He, comes down and acts as if he is going to be the savior of these people who yearn for it. But the believers of Christ will know that this is Satan, and those who have never truly believed in him will be easily deceived by Satan. And then you have Jesus who comes. The Jewish guy who gets crucified by his own people, was a carpenter and believed in making sure that you take care of those who have been disparaged the most before you take care of anyone else. Because usually those who have ended up in bad situations end up in those situations because of those who have had a lot and who have had to strip opportunity from others in order to maintain that wealth. That sounds kind of familiar, considering we have this Jewish guy who used to be a carpenter who's literally done the right thing his entire life, getting arrested with African Americans who are fighting for equal rights, having the unpopular opinion of being pro-choice and understanding that certain situations, call for individual autonomy when making those kind of decisions for a female, and that we have no control over that body or the desires of what a female should want to do with her child or with the potential of having that child. We have a man who literally is fighting to make sure everyone has food, everyone has dignity, everyone has equal wages. He fights to protect the earth that we live on, and that we really should be living for, considering this is our home. The list goes on, right? Okay, so we literally have the Antichrist, Jesus, and Satan pretending to be Jesus all in front of us. Because the parallel that's constantly made that we see all the time is that Trump and Sanders are the same candidate, but they're complete and total opposite. But people believe in both of them for the same reasons. In 2012, after I've read a lot about it, just through various sources, and people say that from what we know, it was the end of the world. It could have been the end of the world, but a lot of times it means the end of the world as we know it, not necessarily like Armageddon is going to come. But 2012 was the start of a lot of different things. The turmoil in the Middle East has gone just out of control. And yes, there's always been kind of turmoil in the Middle East. But the recent turmoil is kind of crazy. You can't front. And then, I think what really solidified it for me was that Trump decided that he wanted to say, let's start branding people. And obviously, as you know, people talk about the quote-unquote chip that, they talk about in Revelations. And I'm like, yo, okay, this is really starting to get scary. And what's even more interesting is Hillary's illustrious career of her acting like she's been a progressive and that she's been for the people her entire life. And she's been deceiving us since we can remember. Everybody. She had me fooled too. She had almost every black person in the country fooled. And so did Bill. But everybody can kind of say at this point that Bill's presidency was only a result of Hillary wanting to become president now. This woman has connections in every possible way you can think of in this election. Hey, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. But the similarities are pretty crazy. You got to admit. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Share the video. Tell me what you all think, and tell me if you have any more education on Revelations, and if you're a theologian or anything like that. I'd love to hear your opinions about this particular scenario. So like and share, and I'd love to hear from you.